Royal Mail to Royal Fail. Prince Harry has been dealt a humiliating blow after he was snubbed from a military academy's guide to its most notable alumni. Despite serving 2 tours of Afghanistan and creating the Invictus Games, the Duke of Sussex failed to make Sandhurst's top 200 former students. Those who did make the cut include his brother, William, I bet that hurt, who also penned the foreword. Winston Churchill was on there, and even the singer and songwriter James Blunt, who only gets a mention, not only gets a mention, but also appears on the cover. It's a further blow for the Prince, who was widely criticised in military circles after bragging about Taliban kill counts in his memoir, Spare. And if Harry and Meghan were hoping for more favourable press on their side of the Atlantic today, they were wrong. Despite apparently not being invited, the pair found themselves the butt of the joke during the Golden Globes award ceremony in Hollywood last night. Let's have a look.
Turns out Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will still get paid millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing. And that's just by Netflix.
There it is. Well, do you know what? I think it was that stuff in Spare that might have done this, and nothing else, because I don't think the military would have wanted to kind of pick a side in the sort of tabloid row of, you know, who's the good prince, who's the bad prince, is Meghan a terrible influence on the royal, on him, and did she destroy? I don't think they care about that, but I think they do care about those moments within Spare, and I don't think it was him. It was a stupid thing. Some editors should have said, look, don't go there in that particular territory about who you've killed.
When he said how many he'd killed.
Yeah, how many he killed. Yeah. I wonder, and I don't know, because I haven't got a military brain in that respect. My dad was in the army, but that's about it. But I wonder whether it was that and maybe that alone when they thought, look, if we're going to somehow celebrate our most valued or notable former soldiers, maybe the one that bragged about his kill count is not.
But you may not have a military background, but it's very clear that proper soldiers don't do that. You absolutely you don't talk about your kill count. My father was in the Second World War, and we would say, come on, Daddy, tell us about, did you kill people? And you don't talk about that. You absolutely don't. And I think Sir Richard Kemp said that.
That's correct.
General Colonel of the Army has said that was absolutely kind of beyond the pale.
I think that's right. But this book wasn't just about, who's been to Sandhurst. I think, because it was called, And They Served, it was about people who you might not expect to have been to Sandhurst. So, there's a chapter on David Niven. David
Niven went to Sandhurst?
Yes, exactly.
Not know that.
There you go, Ed.
That doesn't surprise me that David Niven. I didn't know that.
And that's why James Blunt is in there, and Winston
Everyone knows
Churchill.
James Blunt. He bangs on about it all the time.
Well, that's true. So
but not to include Harry is pointed.
There are only 200
But when his brother is included.
But his brother's going to be king.
You've got to pick one brother, haven't you? OK? The Sandhurst people only have to pick one brother.
I think it's pretty pointed not to include Harry.
I agree with JJ on this, even though he hasn't spoken. I agree with JJ, which is this guy served on the front line, flying an Apache helicopter, a dangerous job. I don't think, I think the kill count. I think the kill count point is well made. But frankly, if retired generals and retired colonels didn't go on, dare I say it, programmes like this and mouth off about defence policy or whatever, I could perhaps understand it. But people treat their military service in their own way. They're entitled to talk about it. Andy McNabb has made a huge career out of writing.
Serving officers at risk.
Writing through. Why does it put serving officers at risk? This guy risked his life for us. He'd serve far more dangerously than Prince William. I'm not criticising Prince William for that. He deserves to be in that book, no question.
Yeah.
Don't you agree, JJ?
Lord Vasey, I agree completely. War is young men dying and old men talking. Harry, despite what you think of Harry, he put his life on the line for his country and his king. Most soldiers don't even get to meet the king. They just sign up and they go in their sentence and you shoot and you do as you wish. And you can say, well, he shouldn't have spoken about what he did. It's up to him, because you can cite your personal examples of soldiers you've spoken to who said you should never do that. I can cite soldiers I've spoken to who said absolutely you can do that. You've got books, you've got films written about people's kill counts. Soldiers do.
But it is. But that was. I mean, I'm not saying that should have been their decision. That's my only. The only thing I can think is that that's what they were thinking.
And perhaps that is what they're thinking. But I think it's an insult to Harry and to any veteran who has served 2 tours and now does all this great work for soldiers who are injured.
Yeah, exactly.
And yet they're going to put his.
Not everybody can be on the list.
I know, great, but his brother didn't do any serving.
Charlie Smith.
That is a really good point about Invictus, though. He set up the Invictus Games.
He did. I mean, personally, I suspect that Harry's not going to be that bothered about being left out.
Oh, I think he'll be very, very hurt by this. And this is what is sad. He seemed much happier and much more fulfilled doing something with his life and a happy career in the army,
Right,
and now seems totally without purpose and bitter and vengeful.
Well, that was today's royal news. I can tell you tomorrow's royal news is going to be back to Epstein. Because news that's broken just in the last half hour or so, this is the latest tranche of the court documents that we've had, dripped out, drip, drip. The latest ones say that there are sex tapes allegedly taken of Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton and Richard Branson by Jeffrey Epstein. Now, obviously, we don't know if there actually are, but this is one of the women who says she was a victim of Epstein, Sarah Ransom, says in her evidence that she had heard that there were claims that Andrew and Clinton and Branson were all filmed by Jeffrey Epstein. So I can guarantee you that that will be in tomorrow's papers, but you heard it here first. Now,